Today, once more, they will replenish themselves, cheat death again, through the power of their source.
Matt Stone, 180degreehealth.com.
Hey, it's Matt Stone from 180 Degree Health. First health tip for this video is do not inner tube down the Truckee River, especially not without shoes. I did some nice bouncing along the rocks yesterday after I got flipped over and went down through the rapids without an inner tube for a few hundred yards, and yeah, my knees and shins and feet and hands, and yeah, it took a little bit of a beating. So yeah, don't do that. It's not healthy. Anyway, it was pretty fun for the most part, minus that part and having trouble going to sleep because I kept visualizing that frightening moment over and over again. But I wanted to just point out the myths of the glycemic index also in this video, because it's a foolish thing to be basing your nutritional and dietary decisions on, your choices. For example, if you have a plain boiled potato, the glycemic index is very high, and your body's rate of absorption is very quick, and your blood sugar tends to go up pretty rapidly, and your insulin levels go up more rapidly, and your just general insulin response is higher to eating a plain potato. Well, how do you lower the glycemic index of that? Well, you could have a potato covered in cheese and bacon. You can have it deep fried and served with a chili dog and all these kind of things. That would lower the glycemic index of the potato. Does that make the potato therefore less fattening, less likely to contribute to diabetes or something like that? Of course not. It's ridiculous. The glycemic index is not something to be used to base your dietary decisions on, even if you're a type 2 diabetic or something like that. And even the glycemic index and the amount of insulin that you secrete in response to something that's high on the glycemic index, that does not intersect nearly as tightly as people think. There are foods that are high glycemic where you don't secrete that much insulin. There's foods that are lower glycemic where you secrete more insulin. For example, beef or something like that. You secrete a lot of insulin, but of course beef is very low glycemic. And just because you secrete a lot of insulin in response to a food doesn't mean it's bad. Insulin is not the big bad wolf that everybody thinks it is. In fact, the people who are insulin resistant, they're not responsive to the hormone. The reason they're sick and have all these different problems is because they're not getting to reap the rewards and the advantages of insulin. Insulin shuts down our appetite. Insulin builds lean tissue. Insulin takes energy and stores it into our cells for usage. So insulin is a wonderful thing. And if you think that by adding, deep frying a potato and dipping it in some sour cream dip and eating that alongside of a cheeseburger, thus lowering its glycemic index, that you're going to make it less fattening or something like that, is ridiculous. There are so many other factors involved with how our bodies regulate our appetites, our energy levels, in terms of our metabolism and whatnot, that to base it all on this, what happens 60 minutes after you eat a certain food is absolutely ridiculous. Use your common sense. Beans cause a massive secretion of insulin. Are beans fattening? Hell no, beans are not fattening. Potatoes are not fattening. Cheeseburgers and fries with milkshakes and stuff like that, yes, obviously you can gain fat much more easily with those type of foods. And even so, I find repeatedly that having these huge calorie spikes because you're eating very calorie-dense foods, potato, not very calorie-dense, French fry, very calorie-dense, even eating these calorie-dense foods that naturally make you eat more in order to satisfy your appetite and assist with you gaining body fat, can actually really improve your metabolism. Sometimes it can be the one thing that finally gets you that breakthrough where your metabolism comes back up to where it should be. That little bit of extra body fat that it allows you to put on finally allows the stress response to shut down. and your body to start working correctly, and all those health problems that you might have had lingering related to that chronic low metabolism start to improve. So fattening or not fattening, this or that, blah, 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 none of it's really that significant, and leave this silliness about the glycemic index behind. These low glycemic index diets and all this kind of stuff is pretty ridiculous, and the belief that you can't eat carbohydrates by itself, you have to pair it up with a bunch of protein and fat. Yeah, that doesn't do anything for you in terms of weight or anything like that. It's just crazy, or even appetite satisfaction or whatever. So anyway, that's my little spiel for today on the glycemic index. Pretty much to completely throw it out the window and forget about it. Seal it out of your mind forever, and don't let it influence your food decisions ever again. Matt Stone, 180 Degree Health. Catch you in new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to the 180 Degree Health channel now, or you will be abducted by lesbian Nazi hookers from outer space and forced into a weight loss program.
It doesn't matter what you had for lunch, just eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it.